put a lot of bread in my pocket at one point.
Right. How is the NFT shit now? Is it still there like a little bit, or is it
not? I'm not
not?
talk shit, but I talk shit in my kitchen. No, if you know what you're doing, if you're a player in the game, if
You can still make some moves and
if
make
you
some
got
money.
bread to waste, if you can go to Vegas and waste 10K and it not hurt you Monday
Right.
morning, then yeah, go ahead and fuck around with NFTs and cryptocurrency and stuff. But if you're just a dude who got into crypto because you had a few stipend checks from Joe Biden, you should probably chill.
Yeah, for sure.
Because like a lot of those kids who are still in it, they made like a quick bag once in their lives, and like some people, it was the first time they ever saw 10K for doing nothing, right?
Right.
Like, fucking a phantom 10K just lands in your pocket, 15, 20K. And that shit was crazy. I remember like I'm busting my ass to paint these walls, and then it was when I painted my first Bored Apes, I got gifted an NFT instead of taking like payment or whatever.
Right.
So they hooked me, and I was there with the homies, and I was like, yo, y'all gotta give them some too. Because if the CEO of Walt Disney got one of these, it's gotta be worth money. Sure enough, it was worth money. So I like offed mine for like almost, it's like 25 bands.
You sold it.
Oh yeah, bro.
With the quickness.
Come on, bro. Like,
I would hope so.
I never had money like that before, so it was just like, I had a homie who held on to his for I think he still got it. It's not worth as much as it would have been if he would have sold it back then. But like, I wear pairs of rare kicks for that reason. Like, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna hold on to these. So if it's got sentimental value, cool. But me, when I got into NFTs and learned what I learned,
First of all, NFT right off the bat is no sentimental value. You need to get that shit.
Straight up, bro. You need to get your bag, get in and get out. And like that's the game I played. And then
Do you know anyone that lost a lot of money on NFTs?
I know some people who lost their bags on just crypto in general. But like for me, if you're smart, it's just like when you go to an art show, right? And you ask somebody, oh, how'd you do tonight? You're like, oh, I sold a couple pieces. I didn't sell anything. And it's more than that. It's just like, yo, who did you meet tonight? How did you fucking grow your business tonight? So when I got into NFTs, it was like, yo, how am I expanding my network? Who am I linking with who? If this dude's got, X amount of, these NFTs, or if he's worth this much, and I got a business partner or a client that I've worked with and he's worth this much, but they're kind of working in the same direction. That's called vertical integration. Read a book or listen to Nipsey Hussle.
Right.
And you match those two people together, and that alone, like, that's a fucking,
it's a bridge.
Like, there you go. And like being the bridge for a lot of these folks who don't really know how to communicate to each other, right? Being able to just even facilitate some of those conversations or introductions expanded my network. I got to paint all over the fucking country. I got to make money.
Yeah, you were traveling, man, right?
Bro, I was booking. It was like for fucking
every weekend, shit.
Literally, man. I didn't stop moving for like 18 months, and then I was straight homeless. Not because I was like living out of a van or anything, but just I was home for 2 weeks. I was gone for 3 weeks.
Yeah, ain't no reason to pay rent when you go on the road.
Bro, it was fun, but then like it gets taxing on your spirit. All that shit, like everything in moderation, right? Just like you can't be getting drunk all the time or whatever.
Ooh, nah.
So like being on the road, being away from your kids, being away from your family, you know what I'm saying? Like this shit takes a toll. Any fucking traveling entertainer, I feel like that's what I do more now than anything else. It's just like no different than somebody who's got to pull up with their microphone or their keyboard, like do a show, sing, go to the next city.
Use some press, all that good
shit. Yeah, so like I gotta land, I gotta fucking make my sponsors happy, I gotta put on my performance, I gotta like, like logistically figure everything out. So I think back early in this game, I used to tell my friends like, street artists, graffiti writers, like there's no reason why we shouldn't be treated differently than any other traveling artist, like musician. Fucking treat us like Lil Uzi Vert.
For real.
You know what I mean? Because, like, I met Nitros this past year. I've been working on a dispensary, Spark. This dispo hit me up. They're like, yo, I'm on a Rube Zilla wall. And I was like, cool. It's going to cost you this much. But then, like, long term, it's just another wall for me that sits in a dispo. And if, your shit's shitty, then, it's going to help us. What's different? So they let me come in, and I asked them to put me in a creative direction position. I got a lot of access to artists that are way more talented than I am.
Right.
People who inspired my career, I can bring them here. So they said, yeah. We started to like, figure out how to get all this art, taken care of and paid for and shit. And one of my first calls was to Nitro's. And that shit was cool to be able to, like, commission someone who directly was responsible for, like, the inspiration. Like, I used to sit in my cubicle and watch his fucking videos. Mm-hmm. And then I got the commission Hiram Birdcap right after that.
Right.
Another two dudes who I was like, holy shit, these are guys who, like, I used to watch, like, their walls. I used to just be standing across the street watching them lay paint. So, yeah, watching the evolution, just going from painting that very first wall to being able to, like, say, I'm doing shit like Super Bowl activations and curating whole dispensaries, like, putting other artists in position. So, like, yeah, you got those three great names, but then I also put local names in that same building right next to those paints and, like, making it make sense. There's a lot of businesses and companies like, yo, throw graffiti at it and it'll sell us. It'll be cool.
That's what they do. Yeah, well, if you think about it, everything is advertising, everything is letters.
Straight up, bro.
You know what I mean? You're just giving it a little more pizzazz. That's all it's doing,
But, like, outside of that, not retiring as Rube Zilla, but not really, that's not the focus for me. It was cool for a little while and shit. That's like a fully organic being. Mm-hmm. Like, those faces and shit will live, and, I can commercialize those and make money off of it. And if I need to pull those out of me or whatever, like, those, that's some shit I made up.
Right.
So,
well, I wanted you to explain that. How did you come up with the faces?
Shit, bro. I just love cartoons. It's very, very...
What were your favorite as a kid? Your top 4 or 5?
Damn, top 4. Ninja Turtles, SpongeBob. No particular order, by the way.
Right.
Thundercats. Fucking... That's 3. Ninja Turtle. The movie Space Jam in general changed my life.
Okay.
And then...
so you gotta say Looney Tunes then.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, so that the whole era. So Tex Avery, Mel Blanc, like those illustrators, Hanna-Barbera, those illustrators were the people, like the first names I knew as artists. And like even now, like that's the type of shit that I want to collect in my house and like have. Those are the pieces that you'll see.
Right, no, for sure.
But like when it came to the faces, there's like a lot of a deep traumatic story tied into like a part of that. But one of the things I would like to talk about, and I don't think I talked about enough in my career, is just like the spiritual practice that is built into these faces. Let me pass that back to you. So, I'll show you. I'll draw while we chat. But so you're familiar with the Eye of Ra and the Eye of Horus from Egypt, right?
Okay.
Those things are to represent your 5 senses. So that image, those 5 senses are the key to this reality. This, you open your eyes and you're here. You close your eyes right now, and we count to 5. I'm not gonna make you do it, but do it later. But who's that voice counting to 5, right? Who's thinking in the shower, talking to shampoo bottles and shit? That voice has been there since you were a kid, since you were 6 years old, when you were 16, when you were 26, your whole life. Yeah, go there. When I really started to get into like esoteric consciousness and trying to like expand my thinking outside of like sneakers and work and shit like that, trying to like really explore my own mind, it's like pre-psychedelics, really started to just go back to like Egyptians and like the study of just like the earliest traces of
pharaohs, all that
shit.
shit.
Yeah, there's always the secrets, and it's just a rabbit hole into other shit. So like starting to learn what ancient cultures like, use as their building blocks, like what got society to where it is now, good or bad. What were the thinking, the thoughts and shit. Where did those come from and all that. So if you look at my face right here before I even draw the mouth, if you look up like Eye of Ra or just Egyptian Eye or whatever the fuck, you'll see that the left side of the face and the right side of the face sort of mirror those. And the reason why I do it is to represent, there are 2 halves of us. There's masculine half the feminine half, right? And that's all of society, it's all of human.
Right.
And when we're able to marry those in union, not like, saying fucking on an island in Hawaii, but when you're able to like move with your masculine and move with your feminine, right? It's like why graffiti is such a beautiful sport. Why it is what it is, because like you do have this it's very masculine machismo, fuck the world, anarchy, I'm gonna spray paint and make everything dirty.
Right.
But at the other half, what is it? It's art. It's bubble letters, it's curves, it's fucking it's color theory, it's it's locate, there's life built into it.
Right, it has
so,
substance.
Yeah, your mind, your left half is very logical, very analytical, right? Angles. Your right half is the creative side, is the female side, is like so when you're working with both half of those brains, the reason why these two eyes are always the same, the left eye got the nose coming down, the right eye got the eyebrow coming down. So when you look at the shape of the eyes, and I'll get into the shape of the eyes, your brain is registering balance. So it's registering, the reason why I do black and white is your brain is registering that polarity, that duality.
The balance.
Yeah, that balance. So for me, it is my version of your yin yang symbol. It's my version of, it's my hieroglyph.
Right.
And that's why it's always, I stay consistent. Yeah, it's a little different because each face tells a different message. That's what I'm not drawing, I'm writing stories. Like I'm leaving
You're leaving a story, you're leaving a little tale, like.
Yeah, for real, dude. And that's just one of the things I always hope people realize. There's just a lot more than me just scribbling a smiley face.
Right. So is it fair to say everyone's different? It's never like the same?
Yeah, every single face is different. Like if you really look, even from the beginning of my career to now, there's a vast evolution. But if you look at one canvas, yeah, from far back, everybody looks the same. Just like if you look at a crowd of people, right? But like you really take a look, you see
there's little differences.
Yeah, dude's got a big nose, dude's got small ears. This lady got a big ass head. She got short hair. So it's just those things which make up this whole fabric of reality, right? All of these things are continuously connected, forever. You die, my baby's getting born, vice versa, type shit. So this life is a repeat pattern. So if you look at the eyeballs, those, if you look up, whoever's listening, just research what a vesica Pisces is, and that's the perfect center point of two circles. So when you have one circle here, you're a baby in the womb, right? You get inseminated by a sperm, bow. And then you begin to split your cells, right? You get this shape right here. It's one of the most sacred shapes in all of humanity. So it's just like what the chalice, the Ark or the Covenant, all of that shit. Look up the Vesica Pisces in every culture. It's the shape of your eyeballs, the shape of the vagina, it's the shape of the pineal gland, and it represents eternal life. And obviously when you make 6 of those circles, 6 days of creation, on the 7th day God rested, but those 6 circles, once they're completed, that creates the flower of life. And like that whole image has been found on multiple continents in ancient cultures since the beginning of time.
Right.
So that's where my faces come from. It's just, for me, I'm leaving behind a relic. So like when we all leave and the aliens finally take over and shit, hopefully they'll find my fucking messages and, the intent.
They'll be able to decipher them, right?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, man. What kind of inspired you with all that shit?
One rap music verse by Mac Miller. He said, Rick Rubin taught me transcendental meditation. And I was like, that's such a fire bar. Also, my name is Rubin, Rick Rubin. I'm familiar with him because of 99 Problems and all the work he did on Black Album. So I researched Rick Rubin after the Black Album and saw, this was a long time ago.
Right.
Just like how into like esotericism in his mind and like all that shit he was.
What kind of shit he was on, right?
For sure. So the album Faces by Mac Miller, ironically, is one of those things that sort of like started to wake up my consciousness. But I used to listen to the Beatles heavy, like all through high school, college. The Beatles and Bob Marley. Like there was like a fucking knowledge of peace.